Hey folks, welcome to the stream. It's time for some more development and we are going to take it easy tonight. We're chilling out. So any questions in the chat, fire away and we'll see what we can answer. And we'll take it from there. But in the meantime, I'm just going to build some levels. I'm just going to do some building out of these levels. And let's see if we can get this done. I don't want to be too flippant about it. We're going to delete that. Right, and we're going to set our snap sizes to 50. And then we'll duplicate it. Right, so we'll just build out our level here a bit, see if we can get this done, and then we can work on some more blueprints. We have a few things that we need to work on. Having done the level statuses earlier today, we need to now, when finishing a level and getting a certain score, it opens up more levels for the player. Right, so that's one thing we need to do. We've already built the tools to do it. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to build a straight here. And then I'm going to turn it again. But we're just going to keep filling out our level here, and basically I'm nearly at the end because we now have, I checked earlier and I'm kind of nearly at the point where this is getting to be too big for a level size, because it was taking me, this was, remember, without any interruptions from monsters and stuff, it was taking me about nearly 8 minutes to finish a level. And that's the way it was, right? So if I'm building more, then it's obviously going to take even longer. Right, and the next thing that we need to do is we want a way that the player has to return to a particular point on the map when they finish a level. Okay, so we also need a way of doing that. And I'm going to build this here. Then we probably need this, and then we'll be working more with our straights, right? And then we'll do probably a T-junction. Now, what do you guys think if we were to do right? Right, I'm going to move this into position first because I think this is just out 50. Yep. So what do you guys think about if we were to do, like, if the player loses a life, right? Do they lose all the things they've picked up? Right? Because that would make quite a big difference to how we basically do certain things. Like, for example, the mini map drops we'd only have in the map once, right? If you lose the mini map drop, if you die, then we would need to necessitate, or it would necessitate the fact that we need to have more than one minimap drop. Now, that's not hard to implement, but it still does take some thinking about. Right, and we'll do a door end here. And this is going to go like so. Okay. So we're going to work on the scores. Okay. We're going to work on we're certainly going to work further on our end screen and calculating scores and doing the times. Right, that definitely needs some work. So we can certainly be working on that. And yeah, there's another thing, traps. In the chat, guys, if anybody's got any ideas on what type of traps you would like to see, let me know, and we'll see if we can build something to your liking. Hi Blue Leo, how you doing? How are you today? Hopefully well. And that's a T-junction, so we don't want that. And that's a turn, so we do want that. I'm just finishing off this level here, hopefully. And then, happy days, I can put it on Patreon as an early build and people can try it. Not that there's many on Patreon, so there won't be that many trying it, but at least it's another landmark reached. Right, so that is that joined up. And now we just need to join up in this section here. So, we've got one more bit to add after this. I'm going to keep this fairly straightforward because, as I said, we're getting to the stage where this map is becoming too big. Right, but we're just chilling on a Tuesday, building this out a bit. No, it's not. But apparently, somebody came in and said the same thing last night. Right? Okay. Here is the story of why this game came about. Okay? I gave a one-on-one lesson to someone. Right? And that person was very, very happy. So what I ended up doing was he actually joined up to my Patreon. Okay? And I need to delete that because that isn't a turn. Anyway, back to the point. So I had given him a tutorial on something. Basically setting up a monster spawner, right? A random monster spawner and how to go about it, right? And then he was very happy with the way I had taught him. And he signed up for my Patreon, which basically he gets an hour's one-on-one tuition or one-on-one chat or whatever he wants, right? He gets an hour of my time, basically. I think is the best way to say it. And so to preempt that, what I did was I basically asked him what he was working on, right? And he basically said to me, well, he showed me. I said, come on Discord, you can show me what you're working on and then we'll see where you need some assistance. Okay? Hey Blue Eagle. The two blues are in tonight again. So anyway, he was showing me like a chase game. And he said, he sent me a link to a video. And that video happened to be Dark Deceptions. Right? So I took literally a 2-minute look at it and went, that doesn't look very hard. And here we are. So this was actually, I built this just to get out ahead of the game, right? So that if he came up, if he wanted to do the same thing, that basically if he was doing it and he had any questions, I could basically say, well, here's how I did it. Right? And here we are 3 weeks later with a pretty much first edition of the game. Right? So we're going to have to do a T-junction here. So at that point I had never heard of the name Backrooms, right? So I had no idea what Backrooms was, and really since last night when the first person ever mentioned it to me, when he said, "Is this a Backrooms game?" I went, well, what's a Backrooms game? And I still actually don't know what a Backrooms game is. It seems to be just... there actually doesn't seem to be a description of it as such. So if you can tell me exactly what constitutes a Backrooms game, then by all means do so. From what I gathered... this is Quiller, by the way. I'm talking to Quiller, hopefully. From what I gathered, a Backrooms game seems to be... actually, I still don't know, because on the internet it says something different from what it looks like being. It says it's something to do with found footage. But then when you look into that, it's not an actual game. It's a short video. Right? So that doesn't really constitute a game. Now, whether somebody's taken that type of look and turned it into a game, and that is now what constitutes a Backrooms game, I don't know. Maybe you guys can tell me. But when I started out on this, I have no idea what a Backrooms game was, or what Backrooms was, in fact. And that's not what I want. But I did put it in the tags, because apparently this is a Backrooms game, even though I don't know what a Backrooms game is. And if it is a Backrooms game, then it appears to me that a Backrooms game is like Friday Night at Freddy's or whatever one of the... Now, the other thing, as I said, this was based on literally a 2-minute look at Dark Deceptions, right? Because I just wanted to see what the very, very basic mechanics were. Right? Because the problem is, if you look at one of these games and you start making a game from it, or if you try to clone it or whatever, now doing a clone of it is a bit different, but what you don't want to do is end up copying every single mechanic, right? So the less you know about the game, the better, as far as I'm concerned, because then you're kind of not... you'll have your own ideas, put it that way, on how it should work. Right? You can look at the basic mechanics to start with and then take it from there, but you don't want to lean too heavily